everyone, I'm Cheryl Temple and welcome back to Stitchy Bee. Okay, last time I said I was going to make a linden sweatshirt from Grainline Studios, and I have. So you probably guessed, I did sew up that lovely velour stretch fabric that I showed you last time, and also I made one from regular kind of sweatshirt jersey. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm wearing first. I told you might laugh. Have a look. So this is the Floral Linden, and I used the self binding to make the cuffs. So I didn't use any rib or anything else alternative, just used the own fabric itself, and it worked out perfectly. And also I've made some leggings to match. So this is the ultimate in floral loungewear. And I wanted something just to wear around the house, to wear Christmas morning actually. I think it's just something a little bit more dressy and you feel a little bit, you know, kind of less sweat panty, kind of lazy-ish. I wanted something a little bit brighter, and boy is this bright. I know it's not for everyone, but I really like it. I finished this yesterday and I've done nothing but smile just looking at it hanging there, so I'm really pleased with it. Okay, so let's go through the pattern. So it's the Grainline Linden, and I resisted the temptation to sew up the free copy of a similar sweatshirt that came with Love Sewing magazine. After reading all your recommendations, I thought let's go for the linden, and I'm really glad I did, so thank you for encouraging me to do that. It is a great pattern. So I made this one first, and this is made from my Superstar jersey fabric that I have for sale in the shop on stitchybee.co.uk. And this sews like a dream. It's so nice. It's a poly cotton mix, but it just feels more like cotton, to be honest. And on the inside it's got a really nice kind of fleece. It's not too thick, it is quite light. And also the neckline sits really flat, all the seams press beautifully. It's just one of those fabrics, if you've never sewn jersey before, this is beautiful. It stays underneath the machine, it's not too fiddly, and it was great. So I'll show you some close-ups of the top stitching. So I had a bash at the twin needle top stitching. I've had twin needle for ages, I've never used it, and I thought let's give it a go, and it worked out really well on this fabric, so I'm glad I did that. So one thing to watch on the linden, so on any sweatshirt or jersey pattern, it's really worth taking care to read the stretch required of the fabric that you buy for the pattern. So for example, the neckband using this fabric was way too short because it's not got as much give as other jerseys have. So I cut a longer band for this, probably about just over 2 centimeters longer than required. I'll show you the pattern piece, which is here. So it's just a case of practicing, and make sure you've got a little bit of fabric left over. Don't get it so close to the fabric requirement, and then you've got room to play. But it's not the biggest of pieces. It is cut on the fold, so obviously it's twice that long, but you just need a little bit extra. And then when you're pinning it, you can kind of tell. I mean, it's so short when you cut this. One of my lovely customers has written to me and said, yeah, it is really quite short when using this fabric, so you just need a little bit longer. On this one, for example, this was absolutely fine. I did make it longer in case, but I didn't really need much extra because this is a lot stretchier than this fabric. So it's one thing to watch for when you're sewing jersey and you require a neckband. So yeah, adjustments I made were, I added my usual 2 inches of sleeve length because I've got long arms. Everything else was the same. I cut a size 12, and it's quite roomy. It's funny actually because on this fabric it seems a lot bigger because it's less drapey than this one, and this one sits really quite nice because it's lighter in weight and it hangs better. So this is kind of more traditional sweatshirt in the way it drapes, so keep an eye on that. I could have probably gone down a size actually to a 10 that they talk about on the packet. All sizes are different, so even if you're a 10, 12, 14 in ready to wear, always read the pattern and the inches that it relates to, and then you can work out where you fit into that. So yeah, a brilliant pattern. It's gone on my hook patterns that I store my PDFs on, because I know I'm going to make loads. So I'm really chuffed with them. And the only thing I'd say to watch for, it's quite a wide neckline for a sweatshirt, as you can see. The cut of the pattern's just wide, so maybe sometimes when it's cold, you want a little bit of a smaller neck, so I might draw the neck smaller if I want something a little bit warmer, or give the Simple Sew pattern a try that I got free with Love Sewing magazine, and see if that neckline's any different. But other than that, it's beautiful. The raglan sleeves make it easy to sew, and it's a quick make as well. I made this one yesterday in an hour, having had pattern pieces already cut out. So yeah, can recommend it. I can see why it's so popular. Okay, onto my crazy floral leggings. So you can't really see that well here, but it's one of those legging patterns with a nice wide waistband. And I mentioned last week that the thing that appealed to me most about this was the style of the waistband, because I didn't think it needed any elastic. And on the pattern, it's really quite frustrating actually, because I read the notions and no elastics listed as a requirement there, but further down underneath the fabric required, it does actually mention the elastic. So I rebelled and I left it out completely, because I thought this is quite a good fabric, it's quite stretchy. I'm going to try it without and see if I can get away with it, because I hate elastic around my waist. It digs in and I'm sat all day. So yeah, I wanted something really comfortable, and it works, thank goodness. So you can see there's no gaping at the back. It just worked out well. And yeah, no elastic required, and it's absolutely fine. I sewed view A on Simplicity 8212. And I added 3 inches to the leg length, thinking that would be more than enough, and it's still not that long really. So double check your height and work out where you think you are. It did list all the finished garment measurements, including the leg length and so on, but I just kind of guessed. I thought I'll add 3 inches, and then if it's still not long enough, I'll make some cuffs for the bottom, and that's what I did. So I pinched, or borrowed, the cuff from the Linden Sweatshirts, and I actually sewed that onto the leggings at the bottom. Now I've got skinny wrists and ankles, so I can get away with it for this. So double check the width before you do anything like that. But yeah, I'm really pleased. So I've got a cuff length there, and it's worked out really nicely, and it's finished them off quite well. The pattern as a legging could probably do with being a little bit narrower if you want a skin tight fit. So if you're sewing these for the gym or for running, you probably want to check the fit, but that's better going that way. You can always sew in the side seams, can't you, rather than having to let it out. One thing I'd say as well when sewing velvet, so there is a nap, which means that the pile goes one way. So the way to work that out is if you run your fingers down the fabric as it will be worn, it should feel smooth. If you go the other way, then it will go against the grain, it'll feel rougher. Now, I didn't pay too much attention when I was doing the cuffs, so my nap's actually running the wrong way on the cuffs and the waistband, but I don't mind it because they're all the same and it fits. But it would matter if you'd got the front piece, for example, with a different nap to the back. The colours would look off. I'll show you what I mean in terms of the waistband. So you can see that looks slightly darker as it hangs there, and that's because the nap's running upwards, so it's a little bit rougher, and it does dull the light rather than catch the light when it's running smooth. So hope I've explained that okay. So yeah, this is the Verity Velour, which I was selling on stitchby.co.uk. This is pretty much sold out now in the navy, but I've got lots of the black left over if you wanted this kind of thing. As I was sewing it, I thought this would make a brilliant dressing gown. So I've not found any dressing gown patterns. I've got the kimono patterns obviously from Sew Over It, but I'd really like a proper dressing gown pattern with a belt and little waist tabs as well to hold the belt. So if you can recommend any, that'd be great, because I really fancy making that in the black. I think it'd be a nice kind of wintry, Christmassy dressing gown. Be a great gift as well if you want some gift ideas. So there you go, they're my makes for this week. I'm really pleased how these have turned out, and it's definitely going to be one that I make again and again with the Grainline. And even the leggings as well, they worked out first time. I sewed the medium, and apart from knowing that I added the length to the leg and the cuff, they really fit well. A simple pattern. They have got sides, have they got side seams? Yes, they have got side seams on these. So some legging patterns go all the way around, so you're completely smooth. So yeah, these have got side seams, so you've got a little bit more option in terms of getting the fit right afterwards. But I didn't need to adjust them, they worked out fine. Just read the back of the pack carefully and pick which size suits your measurements. And if you've got a stretchy fabric, I think that helps get the right fit as well. So there you go, that's me for this week. Next week I've got a major fabric haul coming up, and I've also been tagged in the 5 questions 1 take. Thank you very much. So I'll have a bash at that before then as well. Okay, have a lovely week. Thank you so much for your support and supporting my shop online as well. I really appreciate it. It's been really busy, and thank you. I really do appreciate your help. Okay, you take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.